Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Providence Ridge here in State of Decay 2 for the next installment of our base reviews. We're at Westen Builder Supply. Goodness gracious, I already can't talk. I already cleared it out so that we could take a quick look at it. Westen Builder Supply. This fenced warehouse has already been pillaged, but it offers lots of room to build and plenty of storage for our resources. It is a 4-man, 1,000 influence base, so it is still technically considered, or at least what I would consider, an early game base. But as we found out in our current playthrough on the lethal zone, which you should check out, even an early game base can get you through the end game. But anyways, it comes with 3 parking slots, another failed Clio drop just like in Rusty Rosie's. It has goodness excuse me, warehouse storage, which will give us extra storage, I believe, for everything, but we will find that out once we get going. It has 2 sheltered beds, which will give us 2 beds each. We'll probably tear those down, but it does come with them, and that's it. So not a lot in the way of it has no real built-ins, because you can tear those down. That isn't technically a built-in since they all came with all bases come with storage. It's just a really good storage, and then we tear that down too. So not a whole lot in our way for customization points. But without further ado, I will claim it, and when we come back from the black, I will have it built up for you. Alright, welcome back everybody. We've got the base built up. I think there's just one little thing left to be installed, but for the most part it is done, and I want to complete this before the sun goes down. So yeah, so we'll start out with kind of the area that it's in. It is in the pretty much the far north center. It's kind of offset to the west, but it is not terribly great for location because all the heavy areas are down here. That being said, there's a lot of building materials to be had. I believe it's over here, which has a lot of construction areas. You do have this free little carport right next to your base that sometimes has loot. Higher difficulties, probably not. Like lethal, I bet it's pre-looted 9 times out of 10, but it's there. Then across the street, you'll pretty much always, I don't think I've ever seen there not be a plague heart here, because I mean this is standard zone and it's still there. And even on the higher difficulties, I've always seen one over in this little area, the strip mall, so to speak. But that being said, it's right across the street. You'll have a nail salon, a Sud City, Dewey's, Spoon and Cone, and Swine and Bovine, along with a power substation. All of those are very good to loot. And then over here, I believe there's a library where you can pick up a good amount of books typically. Books sell good and will also give you skills, which is quite awesome. The layout of the inside of this base is extremely simple. There's only 2 buildings and everything else is outside, so it's an extremely easy base to navigate. Getting to your locker is as simple as just walking in the front door and going straight. So it's very hard to get lost, because some of these bases, when they start tucking them into buildings and stuff like that, you kind of get lost every now and again. Like Camp Kellenquah, it messes with me sometimes going into the little cabin where it's at instead of it being outside. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the meat of this. So as we discussed, not really any built-ins to deal with. The Clio relay worked just the same as it did at Rusty Rosie's. It gave us 5 food, 5 medicine, 5 ammo, I do believe. And since we had a programmer, we got that little error note again. Nothing major, along with some assorted ammo and I think a weapon or 2. But same as it did at Rusty Rosie's, and it also opened up another large slot just like Rusty Rosie's. So yeah, that came in handy. We cleared out the 2 beds that were right here, and then that gave us free reign on this base. That's early game, but it has enough slots to build whatever your heart desires, because it has 2, 4, 6 small slots that you can build in along with 2 large. So I mean, as you can tell, I was able to double up on my stills, which is one of the things I enjoy building personally. Now, you don't have to build these. You could put, I don't know, a latrine and a still, or you could put a guard tower if you truly felt like it. I mean, that part is up to you. This is just what I would do, because now this doubles up our production of craft beer, and doubling that up doubles up our influence gains, which will help you in the long run with trading, which is extremely good in the higher difficulties. Not so much needed on standard, but nightmare and lethal, it makes your life a lot easier. Now, for this indoor one, I put the infirmary. I do like having my infirmary inside just for role-playing reasons, I guess, and I put it with the command center because, you know, you get shot in the leg. Maybe you could call for a buddy to help. I don't know. But on my infirmary, as usual, I put my biochem station. I did only upgrade it to level 2 because at level 3 it starts costing materials. Obviously that's not a problem right now, but in a real playthrough it can drain you a little bit if you're just getting in here. Then right up here, outdoors again, I put the shooting range. Again, for role-playing reasons, I put this outside. That just kind of makes sense to me anyways. Now, that being said, why they are wanting to point this at that building, I don't know. They could at least turn it around and face it this way. At least then it'll only hit cars, not my friends. Or, I don't know, friends might be too nice a term for these folks. But moving on with the smalls, in this other indoor building, I put my workshop. Again, with my salvage furnace, because I do salvage quite a bit of stuff so that I can make my explosives. And I only leveled it up to 2 as well, because again, at level 3 it costs materials. So I just leave it at level 2 unless I have some specific reason to go to level 3. Like if I'm wanting to craft C4 or something like that, I would put this at level 3 and just deal with the material costs. Same thing with the infirmary. If I had a specific reason, like crafting strong painkillers to sell, I would level it up to 3 and just deal with the cost. But I don't have to, so I'm not going to. Same thing with the shooting range and gym. Obviously you have to change leaders. You have to have a sheriff for the shooting range and a warlord for the gym. That's just not worth it to me. They do what I need them to do. This gives me my 20 health plus 10 from my, the free weights. So a plus 30 health buff, and this gives me a plus 20 max stamina buff. And I also threw a comfy chair in, so that's another plus 3 morale for everybody. Now we'll look at the warehouse storage real quick. It's the only kind of built-in. It's just a super upgraded storage. So it gives you plus 35 to all resources and then another plus 20 to everything. So you end up with a plus 55 to all resources for storage, which is extremely good. You can just keep stocking up on things and you don't have to worry about it whatsoever. You don't have to upgrade it, so it saves you materials and time. That's pretty nice. That's a good built-in quotations around it, but I like it. I always like it when they give me a nice highly upgraded storage, or even a partial, like if they just give me a fire safe storage but renamed as something special. That's fine. I like that kind of thing. But anyways, moving right along, I also built a trade depot, which is pretty standard. It is extremely useful for garnering influence and supplies, especially when I couple it with the stills. So with this combination, what I like to do to earn influence is I will buy all the food rucksacks off of the food trader, make beer, sell beer back, I make more influence than I spent, and I will have more beer left over to sell. So, you know, it works out pretty well, along with the fact that I can pick up other things, kind of like in my lounge. So, like I said, this is level 2. I didn't feel like switching leaders for this. It's not fully worth it. Maybe in the final base that we do at Lundegard, we'll swap leaders around and we'll build up just a bunch of things so that you can see everything. But this level 2 lounge does give me +2 beds, along with +6 morale. It gives me a +3 for a place to relax, and another +3 for reruns, which you have to have electricity for. So that helps out. And then for the things that you can get from the trade depot, I believe it is the fuel trader, you can get this mini bar. The mini bar comes with mix some drinks. It does not last very long, but if you just took a harsh morale hit because of a fight or something like that, you can spend 5 ethanol in 2.5 minutes to get 25 morale pumped onto you. Or if you're just wanting to get the achievement for having max morale, that also works out. Now, I do think, just precaution, I'm pretty sure you have to be on Nightmare or Lethal Zone to get that achievement. I'm not 100% sure, but I am fairly certain it's Nightmare or Lethal. It doesn't have to be just specifically lethal. But yeah, it's kind of a cool little thing that I like. Who doesn't want a mini bar in their lounge? And then, of course, the lounge has its standard things, the schedule a break, games, mixed drinks, and poker night. And then I also have an Xbox that I tend to plug in too, because who doesn't want an Xbox in their lounge? I wish I could have all kinds of mods. That would actually be something neat that I would like, is to be able to have multiple mod slots for different different build-ins. So like with the lounge at level 1, okay, let's give just 1 mod slot. Level 2, let's give it 2. Level 3, let's give it 3. I mean, it takes a lot of materials and time to get it to level 3, so why can't we have more mod slots so that I can stick in, I don't know, we'll leave the mini bar in and we'll throw in an Xbox and, I don't know, a comfy chair. And all of a sudden we have one hell of a lounge that will give us tons of morale passively and actively, and it's pretty awesome. But anyways, I digress off from the main topic of this episode. I like this base. I like this base a lot. It is extremely customizable. If you like to play around with building stuff and using all of the different things that you can build and see what they can do, and using a lot of the other skills that aren't typical, like some of the weirder, like plumbing. I've never really piddled with plumbing, but in a base like this where you have so many slots to build in, you could build a latrine and get a plumber and make that latrine as awesome as a pooper can be. I mean, nothing's stopping you from it. You can still have all of your basics, because all I really say you need in a higher difficulty is just the gym, workshop, and infirmary. So that leaves you with 3 more slots to play with. So I mean, you could build all kinds of stuff. For that reason, I like it. I like to be able to choose what is going in my base. Built-ins are kind of neat sometimes. They do play a good role in the building that you're in stereotypically, but I much prefer to build what I want to build, and this base lets you do just that. You could ride this base out through the entire playthrough. You could skip Rusty Rosie's entirely and come here, or you could stop at Rusty Rosie's, quickly dismantle the Clio relay, and then hustle your butt right on over here. If influence obviously is no issue, which it probably would be, but you know, just hypotheticals here. But in summary, oh, it got dark. Oh no. Let's find some light. That's good enough. Use the infirmary. In summary, I really like this base. If I was going to play this on a higher difficulty like Nightmare or Lethal Zone, this is probably the base that I would come to, and I would just set up camp in and stay here. I would run the entire gauntlet through this base. I think it's that good as a 4-man base. But before I digress more and ramble on... Oh no. There we go. Before I ramble on anymore, or I disconnect my controller again, I appreciate everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Please, please. It helps the algorithm. It gets more people to be able to see the videos. It helps me out. And, you know, if you like it, then like it. Please, please, please. If you don't, then don't. If you have anything that you want to ask, any opinions on this specific base, please drop a comment down below. I love hearing from everybody when they drop comments. The Barricaded Strip Mall episode has gotten quite... I think it's gotten a couple of them. People loving that base. I think once we finish all the maps, we may do a bigger episode of the base reviews, and we will look at maybe just the 8-man bases, and then maybe we'll do another one where I go over my top 5 or something like that. If that's something y'all would be interested in, please let me know. But as always, I appreciate everyone and all your time. I'm the ADHD Gamer, and I will see you in the next one.